Welcome back on this Monday. EPD Officer Mario Reid has spent the past decade serving the city and in recent years has been tasked with leading the department's Crisis Intervention team. Officer Reid has, he's hopefully going to give us a view or I guess a glimpse into this department and this team and what they specialize in, because here we are, we're in the holiday season. We've had our Thanksgiving, we're about to have our Christmas. And then when the calendar turns to January of next year, you do see an uptick of depression in our society. So I just kind of wanted to explain to the viewers at home what the Crisis Intervention team is tasked with, what kind of crimes do they deal with, and what is the follow-up process for that?
Okay. Well, the Crisis Intervention team concept is actually a program that was developed in Memphis, Tennessee back in the 1980s. Unfortunately, a lot of things that are developed that move progress forward start with a tragedy. It involved a tragedy that involved a crisis situation where police responded in Memphis, Tennessee, and the officers were completely justified in what happened, but they wanted to figure out what are some ways that they can do things better, and really, so they developed a 40-hour program with some of the universities in Tennessee that provides officers with the training and skills so that they can tackle crisis response, especially involving individuals that are having crisis with mental illness or substance use.
Because it'd be very hard for some of these officers to put themselves in the position of the person, that victim, or the person you're having to interact with. It could be drug related, it could be depression, it could be anything. You don't know what happened 5 minutes before police arrive. With compassion, I'd say this: not every officer is the same. Just like we watch these superheroes, they all have different powers. Some, are tasked with busting down a door, being the muscle. Some people provide, I guess, just a caring heart and compassion, and that's what your team does.
So that's a really good way of putting it. There are a spectrum of skills that are on the police department, but just like my belt that I have, I've got a bunch of tools on my belt. We've got different tools that we need. Sometimes we do, like you said, sometimes we need the muscle. And a lot of times it's really just building relationships and talking with people and really helping people understand that there are other options for a crisis or another way to solve the problems that they're dealing with. And so the officers with the Crisis Intervention team, they get, during that 40 hours training, they get de-escalation training. They learn about psychopharmacology. They learn about mental illness and the responses to mental illness they may see. And then they also understand how to work with people empathetically and really understand active listening and really trying to get to the root of a problem so that we can get people where they need to be for the resources they need.
So after you've dissipated that threat, that person's been arrested for whatever reason, what is the follow-up like? What's the next step in that process? For another individual, they go to court, they face the charges, but what compassion, what resources are offered to that inmate prior to that next court hearing?
So the unique thing about, especially like my position, is I work, I'm sometimes the lead investigator on something that if mental illness or substance use is the main driver, I work those cases. The difference is a lot of times with the case, you work that case, you provide it to the prosecutor, and it goes, and then we don't know what happens after that. I follow cases from the beginning all the way through the end. I'm a member of the mental health court, and I spend a lot of time working with both the prosecutor and defense attorneys on how to make treatment the center of any disposition of a case. And so we leverage the criminal justice system as it is to get individuals who may not normally engage in treatment and engage in services and make that part of their process, usually through probation or orders from the courts, so that individual can really get the help that they need so that they're successful at the conclusion of whatever their disposition of their case is, and to reduce recidivism.
Now, this is not a recent team. I mean, the Crisis Intervention team has been within the department for a couple of years now. In that time, have you seen an improvement? Have you seen recidivism go down for some of these people? Have you seen success stories?
We have multiple success stories. A lot of our success stories usually involve someone who not only has chronic mental health concerns that aren't getting met, but they're also usually, that's caused homelessness or some other issue. And so a lot of times what we're seeing is, especially as we start to work collaboratively with our community partners, some of our major ones are the Southwestern Behavioral Health and especially their crisis services, Echo Community Housing and Community Development, Echo Health, the hospital systems. we're able to really wrap those services around those individuals and really get them the help that they need. And so we're constantly seeing people being housed and getting the mental health treatment they need so that they aren't in crisis, or provide them the resources they need so that when there is a crisis, it doesn't reach this level. It's just kind of maybe little bumps as opposed to a spike.
And you also had mentioned the homeless population here. You deal with them as well as the, I guess, the homeless liaison, as that title has been given within the EPD. What's that experience been like, and have those folks been helped as well?
Yes, one of the big things I always say is that we do relationship building. And so one of the best part of the job is just to get to know the people that we serve. And so I always say you can't come along someone and say, hey, I'm going to try to tell you how to do something, or I'm going to try to help you if you have no relationship. I can't just walk up to someone and be like, here's some unsolicited advice. So what we do is we go out, really try to make those relationships with the people that we serve, especially the homeless population, so that when there is a crisis, it's a friendly face that they are used to seeing, and it is someone that you already have had some kind of touch point. And so when they ask for help, it's not a stranger saying you need to do this. It's somebody that you already know, you have a rapport with, and someone that you feel comfortable with, so that you can speak into their lives.
Okay. Officer Mario Reid, it's so nice to talk to you, especially with the January month coming up, and a lot of folks, may get down in the dumps a bit, and we know that we have a smiling face within the EPD, and folks have gotten to see you over the past decade and know they can rely on you for those resources. So thank you again for coming in.
Thank you very much.
We'll try to get you a dry day